There are growing concerns surrounding two of New York's most famous attractions, pizza and bagels. Legislation sent to Governor Kathy Hochul's desk would ban a chemical in flour that's been used in pizzerias and bakeries for years. Connoisseurs are concerned that removing the compound could forever change New York's famous chew. But some health experts argue it is long overdue. Joining us this morning is Dr. Mark Hyman, a CBS News contributor, physician, podcast host, and author. So help us understand the health concerns about this ingredient, which is called potassium bromate for us, and why it's so common here in New York and elsewhere. And I take a potassium supplement.
Potassium is not the problem. Potassium bromate is a dough conditioner. Invented in the 40s. Pizza and bagels in New York before the 40s had no potassium bromate in it.
Right.
It makes it more stable, easier to use, and it's sort of a industrial product that's in our food. The problem is it's banned in most other countries, Canada, UK, China, Nigeria.
Yeah.
Why not the United States?
Right. And why not?
I think the concerns about it is that it shows that it has carcinogenic potential. The International Research Agency on Cancer rates it as a carcinogen, a possible carcinogen. It can cause kidney cancer. It has reproductive effects on the eggs. It causes oxidative damage. In other words, it can damage DNA. There's real concerns about it. And I think, in most other countries, they follow what's called the precautionary principle. An ingredient is proven guilty before it's accepted to be innocent. Here, we have to let something in food supply. It's innocent until proven guilty. It shouldn't be that way. We should be protecting our citizens, and we should be more diligent about doing this. But the good news is across the country, California, Arkansas, Louisiana, Utah, all have ruled this is not something we should be having in our food supply. It's making the manufacturers take a second look and having to remove it because they don't want a patchwork quilt of regulations. The FDA is looking at it but hasn't ruled on it yet. There's legislation that was introduced in Congress to look at these things again. But again, it's just slow on a federal level. The state levels have been acting because they get the data.
What does it actually do to the bread, though? You said it stabilizes?
It makes it easier to leaven and faster leavening.
Okay.
It's more stable at different temperatures. It's sort of a hack to make your pizza dough and bagels more consistent.
Okay.
But, there are many companies, and the food industry says, it's going to make things more expensive. It's going to make your bagels a lot more money. Nonsense. General Mills sells brominated and unbrominated flour for the same price.
Well, I'd argue, too, that, I don't know what it will do to the taste, but that pales in comparison to our health. And it's one of the things that I spent a third of my life living in Europe, and they would often mock the United States. For example, in France and in Paris, bread has to be made a very specific way, the way it's been made for centuries, and you don't see people gaining weight or having the health issues that we have here in the United States because of the things that we don't know what they are when you look at an ingredients list and you're like, what are all these things that are going in? You don't see that in Europe.
No, they have a whole legislation called the REACH legislation that prohibits most of the things in our American food supply. And it's the food industry that pressures the government to keep it in there, and lots of lobbying. It's a problem. And I think, we can make these same things without it. And in Europe, they leaven the bread much longer. It's a different form of wheat. It doesn't cause a lot of the same symptoms for people that it does in the United States. A lot of people say, I can't eat gluten when I'm in the United States. When I go to Europe, I'm fine.
You don't get the inflammation, right?
And it's real. It's real. As a doctor, I can tell you that's real.
Yeah.
Vlad brought up something. He said, I don't know what it's going to do with the taste. Do you? If we take this out, is it going to taste any different?
I don't think the people who are making it, they might need more skilled bakers. They might need a little more time. And, it's like everything goes rush, fast. But, we can still have pizza and bagels in New York that taste good without something that's going to cause cancer, reproductive harm, and DNA damage.
It's such an important topic because you see these companies, these food lobbyists that lobby to put these ingredients in our foods, and people notice the difference. You're going to Italy next week, starting tomorrow. You'll see. People, it's remarkable that people, when they travel outside of the United States, they say that they eat more because they're going to all these restaurants, but they lose weight when they're outside of the US.
Also walking a lot more.
But also,
You're right. There's a whole set of ingredients that are in our foods and highly processed or ultra processed foods that affect our microbiome, that generate inflammation. Inflammation causes weight gain. So we're eating a very inflammatory diet.
I remember the first time, doctor, that I moved to Europe, which was in 1994, and I got to the supermarket I was first living in Luxembourg, and I got to the supermarket, and it was getting close to Thanksgiving. I was going to be spending it abroad, and so I went to buy a turkey at the supermarket, and I asked the guy, like the butcher, where are the turkeys? And he goes, oh, they're right here. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, these look like pigeons. He's like, what? They're turkeys, and they were like wild turkeys that were super skinny, and and he goes, oh, you're an American. He goes, yeah. We don't pump our birds with like all the crap that you put in and to make them look a certain way. Americans apparently, this is when I realized that Americans love breast meat. So they make turkeys have more robust breasts, and like they were like, no, we raise them and then we put them in the butcher, in the butcher shop. Really important stuff. Dr. Mark Hyman, good to see you again, my friend. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it.